And welcome back to the working week. It is Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Ostel, still in quarantine. And if you would like access, if you'd like a shot at a $50 gift card to Byron's Hot Dogs on the north side, all you have to do is sign up for the email list. Go to carconcarne.com. There is a registration link in the navigation bar. There's also a story right there on the homepage. Sign up for the information, the details, the email, so you can be plugged in and also get yourself in the running for delicious hot dogs in Green River on the fountain. What's not to love about that? So tonight, one of the ongoing themes I keep coming back to this year on the podcast is innovation in the face of this dumpster fire year, in the face of pandemic. My guest tonight is Dan McKay, who is a tour manager of very high profile bands, but most recently he has launched the Finless Skateboard Company, which is crowdfunding via Kickstarter. We are in the home stretch. Dan joins us all the way from Quebec. Good evening. I know it's late on your end.
How's it going?
It's good. Let's start right there with the Kickstarter. Finless Skateboards. We're recording this on Monday, December 14th. You are less than 60 hours away.
Correct.
You're so close. You're looking for $15,678 as we're recording this. $12,952. So with that, I humbly turn to people listening and watching. Help us out. You're going to hear the story and why this is so cool and why you should participate. But you're so close. I think you're going to get there, but we're going to make sure we push people to
awesome.
contribute to the Kickstarter.
Get there, yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about what Finless is. This started basically a long time ago when you brought a skateboard home for one of your kids, right?
Yeah. So I was on tour with AWOLNATION. This would have been 2015, and I grew up skateboarding and in the punk rock and music scene back when I was a kid. And with AWOLNATION, those guys also grew up in that scene. But being they're from SoCal, Malibu surfer guys and whatnot. We would carry our skateboards everywhere, and it was pretty rad. Where you would know when AWOLNATION showed up at a festival site because the buses would pull up and all the guys like band and crew would just get out of the bus and start rolling all over the place, kind of thing. And we'd kind of take over. I bought a skateboard for my son. He wanted a skateboard and he wanted it from California, birthplace of skateboarding. So I brought him back the skateboard, and it was about a month later, I was back home. After school, he came back from school, went for a little skate session around the block, and unfortunately the skateboard ran under a car crushed the deck. He was fine, but he was bummed. He was emotionally crushed. And I'm like, I don't care, man. You're fine. Are you okay? You good? He goes, yeah, but you got this in California. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's a piece of wood. We'll figure it out. And coincidentally, I was watching something. I can't remember what it was. It was maybe a YouTube thing on this kid that made his own, pressed his own deck. And I'm like, I can make this way better. And I'm like, wait a second. Instead of going to buy him a new skateboard, let's get together in the backyard here and let's just press our own deck. So I got some wood. I looked at some tutorials and whatnot. And I made what I call a hillbilly press. I had 2x4s and clamps and trying to shape the board. And that we made our first board. And it was great. And it was awesome.
So you're obviously handy. You've got woodworking skills going into this, right?
Not really.
Okay, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
I love to learn on my own. I did the same thing with audio when I was a kid. I was playing in bands. I was thinking of, okay, what if this, playing music doesn't work out? I should have a plan B and learn audio. And I remember the first time I understand how a console worked was looking at a Mackie console ad and the block diagram and going to my dad's electronics book and figuring out what those codes mean and those diagrams mean. And then it's like, oh, this goes there. And that's why this signal flow works like this, blah, blah. So I love learning stuff. It doesn't matter. If I'm into it, I'll just go full throttle and figure it out. And that's what happened with woodworking, if you will, and making skateboards.
It's such a good thing that you're a tour manager. That kind of focus and dedication and problem solving, probably much needed on the road.
All the time.
All the time. So you made a deck for your kid in the backyard. How did you describe it? The hillbilly press?
Yeah, the hillbilly press. Hillbilly press and a jigsaw, yeah.
And so how many years ago was this?
That was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
And was that kind of where you left it up until this
No,
year? Okay.
no. Then obviously that was for my son Harley, and we had to make one for my daughter,
Of
and
course.
so brought Daisy Joe in and made one for her, and we made it more like a kind of a longboard cruiser, flat, and we wanted to, kind of make it look like a surfboard a little bit. And then next thing you know, this kind of turned into a hobby where I was like, I was home during the summer, which is weird. I was home for like a month from tour because usually we're touring in festival seasons and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that summer I was home, and I just got some more wood and we made some more decks. And next thing you know, we're making some for like kids at school, and I also, I'm based in Montreal. My kids live here, but I also have a place in Los Angeles. I'm there. I've been there like so much in the past 12 years, sometimes even more than Montreal. So my kids come down there, and we bring our homemade skateboards and we go cruise, Venice Beach, Dogtown, the mecca of skateboarding. And that's where it kind of like we started like having a pretend little company, like, what are we going to call this? We're going to call this Finless, because they're like, we're making them look like surfboards, and obviously they don't have fins, and
I love it.
and that's where it can't kind of like we made them into like really going back to the 50s surfboard aesthetics with the lines and the wood and
Oh, I love the retro look you have going on.
thank you. Yeah, that's really what we were going for. And so this turned into like a little family hobby of every time I was back home from the road in the summertime, because in the backyard here, like I'm in Montreal, there's snow outside, so we had to do it during the summertime. We would just make decks just for fun, here and there. And then obviously when this pandemic hit, I was like, well, maybe this is the best time ever. It's either the best time or the worst time to start something. I got nothing to lose. Here we go.
It makes perfect sense to me. And I think it's the best time. I think it's probably kept your mind active. It's probably kept your creativity flowing. And most importantly, it's kept you engaged with the kids.
Absolutely. I mean, when I say it's either the worst time or the best time, it was a challenge, which is great. I love a challenge. Bring it on. I want to fix issues, but because of the pandemic, a lot of manufacturing shut down. And I'm from Montreal, Canada, where I don't want to state statistics here, but a lot, like most of these skateboards are made from Canadian maple because it's colder here. The fibers are denser because of it, and it makes perfect skateboard. And I was having a hard time finding wood because all the manufacturing, like the mills, were shut down for the pandemic. So it like at the beginning when I first went like, okay, we're doing this for real, just getting parts was like insane. It was so hard. But showing that to the kids is something that I found was gold, because it's like, look, daddy lost his job, not because he got fired, not because there were layoffs. The whole music industry just stopped. Live music industry, I should say. And yeah, turn it around and make something cool out of it. Let's do this for real and see how far we can take it.
And showing the kids you can make something out of nothing.
Exactly.
You can. I love that. And I'd imagine being on the road and you've been with Distillers, AWOL,
Yeah.
Eagles of Death Metal,
Yep.
Cypress
Hill. That's pretty much the bands that I've been with, and Five Finger Death Punch recently. That those are the bands that I've been touring with most regularly for the past 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, these are not light touring bands, so I'd imagine you're away from home a lot. Yeah. So when you come back to town, how nice is it to have this thing that automatically brings you together with the kids?
Yeah.
In the past, just recreationally, but now it's like, okay, I'm home for a while. Let's really dig in. I think that's really what a great opportunity as a parent.
It's I mean, obviously, there's a lot of downsides to this pandemic lockdown and our all of our careers being put on hold, but I mean, it's priceless being home and hanging with the kids and doing this, and it's exciting. And my daughter's, all about like being the face of Finless, doing the interviews, Instagram live, blah, blah, blah. And it's also great because we're both learning, it's like, I'm learning about this stuff too, as I'm going and teaching them, and they're learning. And it's a great experience to do together.
On a total sidetrack, side note, tangent, whatever. You are in Montreal. I'm saying this as someone from Chicago. The most insane driving I've ever experienced in North America is in Montreal, Quebec.
Yeah, it's something here. Yeah, for sure.
It's intense.
It's almost as if people don't care. It's like, get out of my way.
Well, the way Montreal was once explained to me from a native was that residents are super intense. They party really, really hard in the summer because the winters are brutal. They feel like they have to leave it all out on the summer, get it all out of their system. Like summers are super over the top.
Summers are crazy. Not necessarily just on the partying side. I mean, the thing is that uh, Montreal has always been a very, very vibrant city. Back when the prohibition was happening down in the States, uh, Americans would come up here, and this was like the red light and the like European style of all of North America, almost. So Montreal's always been very lively. Summers are great; they're packed festivals back to back, but also the winter. I mean, in the winter it's mostly indoors, but you got some crazy people like hanging out minus 40 degrees Celsius, like doing like fireworks and stuff in old Montreal. I mean, it's great. There's a lot of stuff happening all the time.
All right, back to the Finless Skateboard Company, which is currently crowdfunding on Kickstarter. The clock is ticking. Get in on this. Everything is handmade. How do you, I guess this is a business question. How do you scale this up if all of a sudden this takes off? Have you thought that far ahead? Kickstarter hits.
Of course.
How do you?
If I've been very fortunate to have a lot. This is something that's been an exercise and something that I've learned a lot in this venture. There's so many, like, there's so many helpful people that have been around me, and I feel so fortunate about that. Just asking questions in the skateboard industry, in the music industry, and there's something to about being genuine about this and doing this authentically. I just feel so fortunate to have people that help me out, and I consult with a lot of like expert, like top-notch woodworkers that help me out on like, okay, if this picks up, how do we get this better, quicker, in the whole manufacturing process. There is a plan to expand if need be. One thing that to be said though is that I don't want it to, I'm not hoping to scale it up too fast. I want to keep it genuine and grassroots, do it with our hands, and if anything, it'll be something a little bit limited edition. If we'll see how it goes.
I love it. Let's talk about some of the tiers. If someone just wants to jump in and just say, I think what you're doing is cool, $5 gets you in the door.
Yeah, $5 for a simple pledge.
The decks start rolling out at the, what level are we looking at? 180, 200?
Yeah, you're gonna have to look at it on your side because I can't see it really on my side, on the Canadian side, so I can't state U.S. prices.
Deck only for Canadian 180, which is 142 U.S. And let's be honest, it's a value at any price, but 142 U.S.
Those are the founders boards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the founders boards are basically. The boards are aesthetically very, I mean, in my opinion, very, appealing and nice. So those founders boards are basically coming decks only, no grip, and mostly for display. You can put some trucks and wheels on it if you want, but it's kind of a cool thing to put on the wall. And the kids and I will sign it, number it, kind of a limited edition kind of thing.
So lots of cool stuff. I mean, the tiers go higher and higher with the decks. If you just want to represent nice looking t-shirts, actually the graphic design on this stuff is great. The hoodies look great. The cool thing about crowdfunding is you can support something you're passionate about, and you could do it at a level that feels comfortable to you. You can get in at the ground floor just by, okay, I'm going to kick in $5. Obviously every bit counts, but you can also get yourself some cool wearables or an actual deck. And I think at a certain level, they get to like hug you. No, that's the Founders Duke longboard deck. That's the highest level. I love your story. I love what you're doing here. And oh my God, Dan, you're so close.
I know, we're getting there. We're just
going to stay right here on this call until until you hit 15,678 or not. So 60 hours from now, let's say you hit your goal, let's say you exceed your goal. Does that mean you're just hold my calls, we're going into production, or you're going to roll up your sleeves and it's go time?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. We're gonna take we might take a little 12-hour break because it's been an intense month, but then it's fulfillment. So, we get, I have some help in the shop making these, the kids come and help out, but I have a couple of guys that come in that, they're just as passionate as me, and we're gonna, push those skateboards out, and then we fulfill, box them out, ship them out to all the backers. And, the goal with this Kickstarter is obviously to get our first sales, but also to scale up, not in a way to scale up production, but also to, build a marketing plan, go get, go seek our future customers, and do the research, and fine tune the manufacturing process, and pay some people that, helped us, a lot. A lot of people. We got a lot of great people that are helping us out, and they're just doing it, because they believe in it. So I'd like to reward them somehow as well.
You said it earlier in the interview. To no one's surprise, this has been a horrible year for the live music industry, for artists, for support, venues up and down. What can we do as someone who is so attached to the music industry? What can we do to help bands? What's the best way that we as fans can support them in this time?
For bands, I mean, I think for bands now, it's just tuning in. And, obviously, on a monetary, I know a lot of bands are doing live streams. The Distillers are going to do one, I believe, very shortly. And they did one for Halloween, which was great. It was amazing. That's where we're at right now. These live streams to mimic, the shows. Merch, Christmas is coming up, merch is always a good idea. And just stay tuned, because, bands, that's what they're going to do now. They're, until we get back to like putting 15,000 people into an arena, it's content, and and liaising with their fans. And there's a lot of that happening right now. I mean, I think that's it. And then for crews, the crews are hurting a lot, especially down there in the States. There's a bunch of, organizations that are raising money to help, Live Nation and their Crew Nation. My buddy Yeti, and Jason Rockman, they're working on this thing called Roadie Relief, which is, I think it's going through, I think he started on GoFundMe, and now it's doing another thing. And I'm helping those guys out as well. With performances that they're selling on Bandcamp with all-star bands, collaborations and stuff like that. So I think that's the way to go until we get back to it.
Well, we all can't wait. Are you feeling antsy? Is it weird being at home? Are you used to just being in constant motion?
That's I think that's the hardest part about touring people, because it's people that are career touring technicians, bands. We're kind of a unique kind where, you're always on the move in a different city every night for probably 9 months a year. And to be locked down in your house and you're not allowed to leave, that's a hard thing, I've been going in waves, honestly. At the beginning, it was tough. At the beginning, it was just like realizing, like, wait, we're powerless here. We can't do anything, like we're production managers, tour managers, management people, booking agents. We're all about like figuring out the problem, fixing it. Like, and now it's like this, we can't do anything. There's nothing we can do about this. So, there's those moments of, it's going to be fine. We're going to figure this out. We're going to like sideline for a little bit. We'll get right back at it. And then there's other moments where like, whoa, this is tough. This is tough. But I mean, that's why I jumped into this project, going like, I was so tired of watching the news and hearing about the pandemic and the divide and the the protests and like everything that was going on. I was like, man, I need to focus on something positive. I need to turn this around and make something cool with this situation. You know,
you're talking to someone who does a podcast nightly instead of weekly for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it on the podcast before, but I got to a point with the news, exactly what you're saying, where I realized, okay, I need to stop paying attention to the news as of like 3 o'clock every weekday. The way some people look at coffee, oh, I can't have coffee after 3, it'll mess up my sleep. That's where I was with network news. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I need to just decompress or I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
I need to do something more healthy.
It must be hard for you because you got to be on top of all this stuff all the time too.
True enough. It's a lot more skimming than it is deep diving.
Yeah.
At a certain point. But yeah, it's just for my own mental health. I'm like, I guess I'm going to try to exercise more and tune this stuff out because I will go insane otherwise.
Exactly.
Well, I love that you're channeling all this energy and with your kids. That's everything about this story makes me smile. This is such it's just a great story. Again, it is Finless, Finless skateboard. Search it out on Kickstarter. We are in the home stretch. Help make this a reality. Help make this dream come true. It doesn't take much to do it. And I wish you all the luck. And I hope 1 year from now, when you're touring with AWOL or the Distillers or whatever, you can come back on and talk about how much fun you're having with Finless and how it's grown.
Great. Yeah, I'd love to.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.